Spy Cat, and this is going to be my Bill Paxton movie collection. I pretty much have about 80%, 90% of all the Bill Paxton movies that he ever made. He's been active since 1975, but he really did his first big movie of Aliens in 1979. So here's my collection of Bill Paxton movies in my collection, I guess you could say. I also made you guys saw the last video, the Bill Paxton tribute intro video to this, and then I ended up making a part 2 where I'm talking about Bill Paxton, reminiscing about Bill Paxton, taking some dabs, taking a couple shots of apple juice since I don't drink, I'm a smoker. I open up this thing, decreasing the value of this thing just because he sadly, tragically died a couple days ago on the 25th. That sucks. So anyway, without further ado, that was the cat doing something stupid, making noises when I'm trying to do my freaking Bill Paxton video. Anyway, Bill Paxton is from Fort Worth, Texas. He was born May 17th, 1955. And like I said, he died a couple days ago. It sucks, but if you love Bill Paxton, you are going to love this video because I'm going to show you every movie he pretty much ever made, and I have in my collection. So here we go, starting from the earliest movie, ending to the latest movie that I have that he was in. So here we go. Earliest movie that I have of Bill Paxton, well, I showed it to you. Aliens, the first one, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. The best alien movie ever. I mean, let's just be real about it. It is. And I love this movie. It came out in 1979, and this is the one movie that he was nominated for a lot of awards, but it was only 2 movies that he won something for. I think this one, and maybe I'll remember it later. But he won Best Actor for this one, not in the Grammys, but he did win Best Actor for this movie. Great movie. That's the Blu-ray edition of that. That's the DVD edition of this, which I have the trilogy or whatever, this DVD pack. And because I am such a collector, I have the VHS 3-pack that came out in 1993, which is awesome that it is in pre-mill condition. I better not mess that up. Next up, in 1981, he was in the movie Stripes with Bill Murray. I got the steel book of that. Pretty cool. He was also in Terminator, the first one, and it's kind of weird that he was in Terminator, the first one. Remember, he's the guy in the beginning. It's a real short part, but in the beginning of the movie, when Arnold Schwarzenegger is naked and he walks up to those 2 like punk rocker guys, and Bill Paxton's the guy with the blue spikes in his hair, and he's like, F you, and then I remember when I was a kid, it was a real violent scene, because he just kicks both their ass, and a real short part in that, but it's kind of cool that he was in this movie with John Connor, John Connor's dad or whatever, and also in Aliens, you see, I forgot his name. Connor dude. That dude. John Connor. Pretty cool. Terminator 1, which I have the special edition of. I have the Blu-ray of with that cool little hologramic crap. I have the out-of-print red special edition Blu-ray right here in the package of that movie. Those are all the versions of that movie I have. And next movie he made came out in, let's see, 1985, a year after Terminator. He was in Commando. I don't remember what he did in this movie, but he was in it. And the movie that I got yesterday on Random Pickups, episode 18. Really glad I finally got this movie in my collection. I grew up with this movie in my childhood. Weird Science. Now, I could have got the DVD. You guys know I like the DVD. It's bigger, but for some reason the DVD that I picked up didn't have the special features that the Blu-ray has. The DVD was like $4.99. This was $7.99. But it has some really cool special features here. Really cool to see this in a great picture quality. Let's see, that was in 85. I hope I didn't say 87. Near Dark. This movie, out of print, really cool that I still have this edition. I think they put this on Blu-ray, I think, recently. But this is the Anchor-based special edition one that is just amazing. This one came out in 1987. Yeah, glad I got that movie. Next up, 2 years later, in 1989, he was in Next of Kin with Patrick Swayze. I think he has a short part in that. I don't really remember much about this movie. But he was in that. 1989, he was also in Brain Dead. I'm pretty brain dead myself. I smoke too much. One day I'll quit, hopefully. With Bill Pullman, the guy that was in Casper. This movie, it's okay. I say something about that. Sweeties recommends that movie in part 2. But like I said, I'm going to combine the Bill Paxton tribute video, full video, and you can see me being stupid and just shooting the shit. Next up, in 1990, a year after that, he was in one of my other favorite movies, Predator 2, VHS. I have to show this original cover for this one before I show the DVD because it doesn't have that original cover we all remember from Predator 2 with that purple, pink sky, yellow sky, awesomeness, same pictures on the back when I remember as a kid. That is another release, though. That was like a second or third release on the VHS. I wish I had the original. And here's the DVD version I have of that movie, special edition one. But he was in that. Next up, he was in 1990. He was in Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen, and that actor no one gives a shit about. I don't know that actor. One False Move. He did this movie, I think, a year after that in 1991. Billy Bob Thornton movie. I don't like this movie as much as I like A Simple Plan. But he was in that. Has a big part in that movie. He was in Tombstone, which came out a couple years after that in 1993. He was in True Lies, which came out a year after that in 1994. We all remember True Lies. And a year after that, in 1995, he was in Apollo 13, which is a really great, one of the all-time great, like, going up in space type movies. I remember I didn't like it when they showed it to me in school. I was like probably 11 or 12 years old. But I've grown to love this movie. It's a classic 90s sci-fi movie. And it's got that cool slipcover. Let's see. After that, a couple years after that, in 2 years after that, in 1997, he was like kind of the narrator telling the story on the movie Titanic, which is one of the greatest movies of all time. Won a crap load of Academy Awards, just like my other favorite movie, Dances with Wolves, and a lot of other movies. A couple other movies. But yeah, Titanic. I got that special edition of that. And being the collector that I am, I also have the VHS special edition thing right here, a little box thing. Now, I already looked in here at the cards and pictures and cool stuff in this thing, and it didn't have a picture of Bill Paxton. So maybe I'll do a separate video of that if you guys really want to see it. Let's see, a year after that, in 1998, he was in A Simple Plan, which is one of my favorite Bill Paxton movies, along with a couple others like Trespass. I really like this movie. Billy Bob Thornton and Bill Paxton are like in this little town, and they're going on a walk or something in the woods, and they come across this plane that like crashed, or maybe it was a bus, I don't remember. And the people died, but there's like these bags of money. So they stumble across like a bag full of money. And somebody ends up dying. They're trying to keep it secret, but they can't. They end up turning on each other. It's kind of like a drama suspense movie about coming across a bag full of money. I love movies like that. One of my favorites. And also in 1998, he was in the movie Trespass, which I don't have the case for some reason. This is another great movie where Bill Paxton plays a fireman with his partner, this guy, and during a fire, somebody says that they hid money in this building, in, I think, Chicago or New York or something. So they go to this abandoned building that burned down to find this bag of gold or money or something like that. And when they go there to find this stuff, Ice Cube and Ice-T's gang is in there. And then it's white guys against black guys in this movie. It is a great, great movie. Let's see. Also in 1998, two movies in 98 that I don't have the cases for some reason. He was in Mighty Joe Young, the movie about the gorilla and stuff like that. Next up, he was in U-571 with Matthew McConaughey and who's the other guy? Harvey Keitel, it looks like. Suspense kind of thriller movie. Pretty good. This movie came out 2 years later in the year 2000. And I have this HBO original movie. Whoops, I went backwards for some reason. That was out of order. This movie came out in 1998. That's weird. How come this... I don't know. So I meant to do this one. This one came out in 1998. And then this one came out in 2000. Bright Shining Lies, it's not your best war movie, but it's still a good movie. Bill Paxton is the star of this movie, so that's a movie where he's a star of. This movie he also directed. It's Frailty, which is one of my favorite movies. Love this Bill Paxton movie. And let's see, in the year 2000... No. In the year 2001 or 2000, I might be getting off order. He did one of my favorite movies of all time, Vertical Limit, about going up to the mountains and hiking and the troubles and trench or whatever that happens when you go to the freaking mountains and stuff. I love movies like this. My dad loves movies like that. I grew to love them now. Those adventure movies. Adventure movies that it could really happen are just, I love those movies. And I'm such a fan of this movie. I have the DVD version of it, and I also have the Super Bit version of it for your extra quality sound. And in 2003, he was in this movie called Resistance. I never saw this movie, so I don't know much about this one. But he was in that movie in 2003. This is just a horrible movie right here. Thunderbirds. This one came out a year after that in 2004. He was in Thunderbirds. Pretty horrible kids movie. Next up, I don't know when this one came out. It doesn't say on the back. I think, let's see. I think like 2008 or something. He was in a movie called The Good Life. Put out by Image. I just got a couple Image movies yesterday. And then the two latest movies that I have in my collection of Bill Paxton is, these movies both came out in the same year in 2013. This is a great movie right here. Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. Great movie. And then he also did, in the same year, he did Live, Die, and Repeat with Tom Cruise. Yeah, this one doesn't say the date on it either. That's weird. But I'm pretty sure these both came out 2013. Yeah, that was my Bill Paxton movie collection.